Hey, what is up everyone? My name is Guillaume, this is Thomann's Guitars and Basses, and today we're trying out the VHT D-50 to see if this Chinese-made amplifier delivers on the Dumble sound. Hey, what is up everyone? My name is Guillaume. Hope you're all having a great day today and welcome to Thomann's Guitars and Basses. Today without my Hungarian counterpart, but I have my Strat, so I'm not too lonely. And I'm going to be trying out one amp that I'm really excited about, which is the VHT D-50, which is this guy right there. That is not new by any means, but that we just started to stock or restock, I'm not too sure. Here at Thomann, you'll find all the links with the specs in the description box down below. But basically what this amp is, what VHT is, as far as I understood, was a part of the Friet company, and then Friet stayed in the US and VHT went overseas, and those amps are now produced in China. And this particular one is inspired by, at least, the famous Dumble amplifiers, and this one is based off of the Overdrive Special amplifier. It is a 50-watt head. I'm running it through the Palmer 2x12 with Celestion Creamback 75. I don't know because that's Chris who usually knows that, but yes. So I'm going to be playing this amp, give you guys a little bit of cleans, give you a little bit of crunches. I'm not using too many pedals, but for reference, I'll have the Flint in the effects loop, just for a little bit of reverb, and I'm going to cycle through the clean channel of the amp, the overdrive channel, obviously, which is what it's very well known for, and as well as a preamp boost that's built into the amp, and I'm going to use the provided VHT foot switch to do all of that stuff. So here are some clean sounds. So as far as the clean sounds go, you guys can obviously make your own opinion about them. The Dumble is based off of modified Fender amplifiers. So you do have that sort of EQ curve that still shines through. It's a lot of low end, a lot of high end. You guys see the EQ is not really drastic. I had to take the low end a bit down because at that volume it's very big already. So those are very reminiscent sounds of those slightly modified Fenders, because you do have and it really shines through, and I hope it did as well on YouTube with the preamp boost that adds quite a bit of mid-range to that sound. So for a Strat player into that kind of amp platform, that preamp boost is really, really nice. And it does sort of the same thing with the crunch sound, the overdrive sound of that amp, adding even a little bit more mid-range, doing something that's kind of tube screamery really, but not really, because it's still amp overdrive and amp distortion, so it's really its own thing. And as much as I didn't believe that this amp would nail it as much, I really, really love the overdrive sound. So here's a few snippets. So I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely adore that sound. It still kind of blows me away that this is coming out of just the amp and there is no other pedal in front of it. It works extremely well with the Strat. We'll give some more sound samples of the Overdrive with the Les Paul as well. Maybe even stack the Archer in front of that to go full gain and see the kind of thing we can get away with that amp. I just want to clarify something. When I said earlier that I didn't really believe that this amp was capable of it, is because it is 100 times cheaper than the actual thing, obviously, and a lot cheaper than a lot more affordable than most other Dumble-inspired amplifiers. And there's always that thing, you know, every time we talk about overseas manufacturers and that kind of thing, is like we've had some amps like Bugera, I think, is a good example of that, of amps that sound really, really, really good, and but have maybe a bit more consistency issues in terms of like the parts that I use and that kind of thing. So obviously my experience with this amp is limited in the studio. I haven't hauled it around in the back of trucks for 6 months. I don't know how it's going to hold up in the long run, but I plugged it in, I barely touched it, and it sounds incredible. And I'm really, really blown away by that. As I mentioned before, I'm going to give you guys some more samples of it with the Les Paul so that you Humbuckers fanatics out there also have an idea of what you can expect from the amp. So obviously the amp takes humbuckers about as well as it does with single coils. The only thing that I changed on the EQ was the bright switch, which in the middle position is completely off. In the up position, adds a different bit of like higher mid-range and is more suitable for single coils, and in the down position, more suitable for humbuckers. In terms of controls, if we want to go over them real quick, you'll have a mid boost sort of setup. That's a 2-position one. I have it in the non-boosted because I think there's already plenty of mids in there, but you can add more if you want to. You've got the classic Dumble Jazz Rock toggle switch, which again is a bit of a mid-range curve adjustment type of thing. It's a lot softer in the Jazz setting, and I'm running it in the rock setting right now. Treble, mid, bass, obviously. The drive and separate volume control are only for the overdrive channel, so you can, on top of adding the gain, obviously boost up the volume for your overdrive sound compared to your clean sound, and you'll also have a master volume and a presence volume that you can dial in depending on, mostly the stage you're on, basically, and the kind of general volume you want to be at. You also have at the back of the amp, and we'll try and get some footage of that as well, OD sort of trim setting, which is going to basically focus the overdrive a little bit more. Right now I have it fully open because that's my preferred setting, but there's quite a bit you can do with that as well. And obviously everything is controllable via the foot switch, which allows you to toggle between the clean channel and the overdrive channel, as well as activate the preamp boost that is also usable in isolation, as I showed you guys with the clean sound samples. The second take, I had the preamp boost engaged. It's really, really nice. It feels like, again, slightly different type of mid-range, definite volume boost in the preamp, so a bit more compression as well. That is one of the first times that I'm playing an amp and I really haven't turned any sort of boost or overdrive or anything on the whole time. It does stack really well with the Archer. If what you're looking for is a more hard rock type of sound, it does that really well too. Obviously, this is not a metal amplifier. It has a lot of gain on tap, but it was made famous by players like Joe Bonamassa, Keith Urban, for that gain, that rock sound, that really creamy sort of mid-range rock tone. But it also has the bell-like sort of clarity that you're going to find with the John Mayers and the SRVs and all of that stuff. To my ears, I'm not sending it back. This amp is going to stay in the studio because I like it very, very much. Again, first time that I'm running an amp with so few pedals, and I do love my pedals, but you know, in that particular context, I really love what it's doing. I cannot vouch for the longevity of the amp. I haven't seen anything online or any customer feedback that says that they are particularly fragile or anything. But sound-wise, I'm absolutely convinced. So I thought it was worth making the video for you guys out there looking for that type of Dumble sound, that kind of rock sound, or if you're just finding out about the amp and are like, yeah, that sounds pretty good, because I think it sounds pretty good. But on that, I hope you appreciated that video. If you did, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. Ring the little bell thingy so you don't miss out on all the other videos that we put out. Leave me a comment below if you enjoyed that amp, if you enjoyed the sounds, if you enjoyed the... No, don't tell me about the playing, just the sounds. And yeah, I'll see you down there and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.